Hey everyone, it's Rita Black and welcome. We are starting our new weight loss skills success series. And today I have with us Irina Lipinskijoins, who has released 25 pounds in the last few months. She did our Shift Weight Mastery process, the 30-day online process in April and May. And she is here really to, what this series is really about is to really dive into the skills that people develop that allow them not just to take the weight off, but keep it off. So I'm really curious, and welcome, Irina. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Uh, I'm really curious, like now that you've been releasing weight since it was since April, right? When you did the process?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, the skills that you've been developing, but maybe even before we get into that, I was going to ask you just to tell us a little bit about you and what have things been like for you before you did the Shift Weight Mastery process?
Sure. For the most part of my life, I'm fairly on the thinner side. I always did sports, so I never really had to worry too much about it. I was somehow always burning, the weight off. And then I had a baby. So
Did
I
you gain weight during the pregnancy?
just solid 60, 70 pounds.
Okay. I think that happens to a lot of women who maybe never struggled with weight before, and then
Yeah,
because you're petite, right? You're a petite
yeah,
woman.
5'2".
Yeah.
So I I stuffed myself with all the food. And
Did you do one of those things where when you got pregnant, you're like, well, I'm pregnant, I can eat whatever I want?
I was like, oh, I'll just go to box, I'll just eat muffins, and even post, I'm like, oh, I can
I'm
just,
breastfeeding, I can
it'll eventually come off. It's supposed to come off, right? Yeah, no, that didn't really happen at all. So then after a year and a half of not fitting into clothes, or I mean, any pre-baby clothes at all, other than sweats,
Did
that's
you
when
try to lose weight in that time at all, or were you just kind of
not too
thinking
much.
about it too much?
I was conscious about it. I hated the way I was looking. I hated that I, always had the love handles, and I didn't feel like myself. I never want to take pictures, with like having a newborn. It was just like, let's focus on her. And then it was an entire year program that I just said, okay, I'm doing it. Like, I'm not, well, I think I like maybe tried like a diet here and there, but it was really like, it was like a day or two, and then I fell off again. So
Right.
it was your program that really actually got me in
Well,
it.
and cool. And I know you had never done hypnosis before. How did you find the hypnosis component of the program helpful for you?
I thought it was great. Even with my busy schedule, I found some time every day to do the hypnosis, and it was almost like a meditation relaxation time to actually stop with all the madness and just get to actually focus on me and
Right.
getting getting back to it and
Well, and
bettering my.
one of the things I want to say for you, because I think this is important for a lot of our listeners, is that you are a full-time, it isn't like you're working full-time and taking care of your now like almost 2-year-old child, right? Or did she just turn two?
She's almost two.
Almost two.
Yes, but
Right.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's full time.
Right. And one of your challenges was actually creating a structure for you to take care of yourself, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the hypnosis was part of your like new self-care for yourself that you took that
Mhm.
time to kind of focus in on what you need. Because I think for a lot of people that get really caught because we're all really, really busy, that we rarely have time to focus in on ourselves and really tend to ourselves and think about like, what is it that I really need? And our minds are really powerful problem solvers once we kind of take that time to focus in. It can make a big difference. Um, So you found the hypnosis helpful in what way? Like just to get focused, or to other than relaxing? Did it help you kind of break through and get focused on?
Because it was a everyday reminder of what my goals are, and I did every like I would do the morning meditation. It just kind of got me of saying, okay, I'm gonna find a time to work out every day. I'm gonna eat like I try to do food, and it's gonna be more nutritious food, which I wasn't doing before. And that really, and I think one of the biggest things was just facing my inner rebel early on, and just because I always did just let the excuses go, and then I really visualizing the inner rebel. And it was, even though it was like a weird cartoon character in my head, I
I love
really,
that.
it really was. It was an odd little character. But just really facing of the like, okay, I'm not doing any more excuses. I like your method, or as the rebel's method, has gotten me nowhere. And so
Mhm.
it's time to actually get into gear, and there's no more of that. And I now allow myself to, like, when I do want to have like a cheat meal, like that's okay, but that's because I've faced it, and it's like
You figured out for you what you need to do, and the cheat meal is like you're in control of that. It's not like
yeah,
it's controlling you, you're in control of it.
ex- I I do work out every pretty much every day. I think I can count on like one or two hands since April of haven't, or maybe one
So
hand.
can I just ask you a little bit about that? Because I think I want to point out to everybody who is watching this is that one of the things that why I call this the skills of weight mastery is there have been many, many studies into people who have taken weight off and kept it off permanently. And there are skill sets. There's like mind skill set, like Irina was talking about the inner rebel, because we talk about the inner coach, the inner rebel, and the inner critic. And when we're struggling with our weight, we kind of go between really criticizing ourselves and rebelling. And I think, Arena, what you were saying earlier to me before we turned on the recording was that, the rebel would talk you out of exercise. Like you say, I'm going to exercise this morning, but I'm going to, yeah. And I think one of those barriers to long-term weight loss for people is that they end up listening more to their inner rebel than their inner coach. And it sounds like that's what you've really developed. How did that process work for you? Like, if we were going to focus on one skill, I think one of the bigger skills for you has been your exercise regime that you developed, since you didn't have any before because you were the busy working mom. And I think a lot of busy working moms can relate to your story. Like, I don't have time to exercise. I've got this baby. I've got a big career. That thing fell to the side. How did you sort of move from like not exercising at all and having listening to that voice to the voice that says get up every morning? Because you get up early, right? You get up at like what time?
I mean, it used to be a lot earlier, but when I do exercise, I wake up when the sun rises, which is 5:30.
Yeah, that's
Like,
that's
so it's,
amazing.
yeah, but that's doing the morning meditations, and the initial 30 days really did kind of get me into gear of like, okay, and it from there, it somehow just like probably from the entire program, just the actual the meditations that helped me kind of continue on after the 30 days to like just it's just a part of my life now. And so when I think of like I plan out my day either right in that morning of like when I wake up, actually no, I do it the night before. The night
Okay.
before, whether I'm gonna have a busy day or not. If it's a busy day, I go running at 5:30 in the morning. And then if it's not as busy, then I know I can just work out during like an hour or during nap time. It's mostly during nap time.
Uh,
So, uh, that
and I
kind of,
love how you're talking about your planning things ahead, because I think from a
yeah,
creative perspective, it's so easy to get into a rut of doing the same thing every day. And what it sounds like is when you plan, you're sort of interrupting those old patterns and opening up your mind to think of something new. So you're
oh, in the night before, I have everything ready to go, and then I just make sure if I'm not, if I'm not doing the run, that like I find time. I find some kind of 30 minutes to just do something. So just some kind of on my phone or something, I'll pull up a video on Instagram and I will do the workout video, like whatever it may be. It's something that's getting the body moving. And that way I can eat a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think that's part of, our process is that we aren't advocating a diet per se, but that you're cultivating a way of living that
Hmm.
allows you to live your life at your ideal weight. And that means, if I want to eat more, I can exercise more. If I want to have my cheat meal every week, I can make that work for me.
Exactly.
Is there any other things that you would want to, tell a listener if they're sitting there and they're kind of in the same place that you were, that like a young mom who doesn't feel like she has the time to take care of herself or feels like, "Ah, where do I get started?" Like, do you have any other, advice or words of wisdom?
I don't know about words of wisdom. I think it's more of just like finding. I think there's one video that I remember or a CD that it's just putting yourself first.
Right.
And obviously your children are first too, but it's one of those like, okay, well, even in the grand scheme of things, find something for yourself. And I love that part of it is just you find some moment for yourself to focus on yourself, and then everything else can all fall into you. And I know like the being overweight definitely put a damper on a lot of other aspects of my life, and this like every day just working out made me feel better, and that was my main thing is the
Yeah.
and but
And I think showing up for yourself is such a great thing that you can impart for your children too. Like, because I think it's so important that they see you giving yourself self-care so that it's modeling that great behavior for them too. Because I think culturally we avoid taking care of ourselves because we think it's frowned upon. I don't know, but I think that what you've done is really great, and that breakthrough that you've created is really wonderful. So your little
yeah,
girl now is going to be 2, so she's got a healthy, happy mommy,
yep,
and
run around everywhere.
I think that's fantastic. Well, thank you for your time today and discussing your skills. Is there anything like when you I just want to like, what is one of the things like if you're in a rebel, you were when you started waking up in the morning and started really that new regime, in those probably first few days, and your inner rebel was like, no, we don't want to wake up at 5:30. Was there anything that you said particularly to yourself that, got you, or was it a vision that you had, or was it, something you said to yourself?
It was a bit more of the vision because I kept on saying that like after the pandemic I gotta look good. So
Post-pandemic vision.
it was my it kind of was. I mean, it was I wanted to just like be able to kind of emerge and like pop
Yeah. I love
up and I
coming
want to
out of the
emerge and
swamp
actually
of the pandemic and
yeah,
being healthy and revived and new and
exactly.
fresh.
It just I don't know. It was one of those things where I'm like, all right, it's next. I'm already awake. Like my alarm went off. Like I can kind of go back to sleep, but I might as well actually get the workout out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
There wasn't any more excuses. So that was it.
Right. Well, sometimes I think our coach, the biggest thing a coach can do is really, and one of the things we really get into is like have that vision and say, this is where you want to go. How do we get there? And your what you did was really motivate and inspire yourself, which was great.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Thank you.
you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. And enjoy your daughter and enjoy your continuing to run. Are you going to run a marathon or a half marathon anytime soon? Anything? Any goals for that?
Yeah, when if to do so. I would like to run half marathons. And I haven't done that in even pre-baby in a while.
Right.
So really nice to do one.
Oh, well, good luck. Good luck with everything. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm going to just